Okay guys, good morning. I'm going to do a cold start on my 1962 Chevrolet Impala Sports Coupe. And I'm praying it doesn't rain. They're not calling for rain. And I'm hoping that it doesn't rain because I was going to try to do a little cleaning up on this car. So let's cross our fingers and see if it'll start. It's been a few months. I'll give a few pumps. Okay, I got a good battery connection. It's been a few months since I started it. And the last time I did, if I recall, I just purchased a new battery for it because the old battery had finally laid down on me. Show you a little bit around the car. Give it some more pumps. It's been a while. I need to get fuel up to the carburetor. And I was watching a episode of Jonathan W. on YouTube. I believe he's in North Carolina, and he was talking about carbureted cars and trucks, how they have their own little secrets about starting and whatnot. So, I was thinking about that, and they all do. Just about. Man, I love this car. Come on, buddy. She's cold and sounds like she's missing. Need to put some new spark plugs in it. Guess you can hear that power glide transmission. It's still original as far as a drivetrain and everything. It's a 283 with the original power glide. Everything's all original on this car. I'm not going to sit in the garage too long with it because it'll set off all the smoke detectors, and don't want none of that going on. Let it warm up for just another second or two. I got all the garage doors open, or the two garage doors are open. This is one of these kind of cars I don't spend much time with, and that's my own fault, but I'm going to try to remedy that. I feel bad, I really do, about not spending more time with this car. This has been my dream car ever since I was a little kid. And I don't know, you know how life is sometimes. You get busy and it's just hard to keep up with everything. And I get sidetracked real easy. Let's see if I can pull this out. I'm going to ease it out of here. I've already checked my brake fluid and stuff like that. So everything was good. I'll set it right here. Let it run a minute. Okay, hang on just a minute. Okay guys, I got my 62 Impala started, but thought my phone was ringing, but it's wrong number or whatever. Anyway, I was going to show you why I really like these Catchmaster glue traps. Look at this spider, and it was where my 62 Impala was at. I put them all around my doors and stuff. Now he's been dead for a long time, but you can still see how huge he is. And this is some other stuff that we have, 1,000 legger, 100 legger, whatever you want to call it. Mostly the glue traps catch leaves and stuff, that little small insects, but man, I sure do like them. I don't want none of those. I sure wouldn't want that big old spider in my house. But anyway, getting back to this car, if you're a new subscriber, you might not be familiar with this car, and I don't mean to repeat myself. I catch myself doing that all the time, repeating myself. I'll try to make this really short. First of all, I'm going to, weather permitting, if it doesn't rain, I'm going to try to give this car, it sits in this garage all the time, covered up with a car cover, but still, it gets dirty. I'm going to try to clean these wheels torque thrust wheels are 17-inch. I've had them for years on this car. I'm going to try to give it a little bit of a wax job real quick if I can. And it's probably smoking gas and it's probably old. So it's been in there a while. I haven't drove it in a long time. Normally, as I said, sits in the garage. I'm going to let it warm up here a little bit and charge the battery some more. But this is it. And if you're wondering about these spots, it's just primer. There's no rust or nothing in it. As I've said in my other videos, the only rust, as you can see, I'm a firm believer in the Catchmaster glue traps. The only rust that was in the car was right here in the floorboard where the heater core leaked, and I got that all fixed. I've had this car 35 years, maybe a little longer than that. Show you the headliner. I've had the interior redone on it, as far as the seats and the carpet and the headliner and the package tray in the back and odds and ends. I put a tissue dispenser in it. I haven't done any cutting on the dash or anything. Still has original radio. It does work, and I got a little FM converter there. And I changed the steering wheel. I know y'all that's been watching, keeping up with my videos knows this, but that's a 59 Impala steering wheel. That's my favorite steering wheel, but I do have the original 62 steering wheel for this car. As I said, it's a 283, but I got the 327 emblems on it just because a 283 just has the V with the red, white, and blue. 327 has the cross flags with it, and I just really think that's a little bit fancier, so I went with it. I still got the original emblems though. Since I've had this car, I've found a grill bar for it, factory grill bar, and I've got the hood pull. This is from a 61, the hood pull, and I got this because it's got the bow tie in it. At 62, they just kind of went plain Jane, wouldn't fancy like the 61, so I got it and put it on. Got some new emblems for it several years ago, and man, they're proud of these emblems. I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, this one was over $100, and that's pretty expensive just for an emblem, but you know, I wanted it, so I got it, saved up for it and got it. I'm not what you call a rich man or anything. Let me tell you how I got this car before you start saying, oh, he's got all kinds of money and stuff, because I don't. This car, I first laid eyes, I'm going to make this real short because everybody that's been subscribing to me for a while now probably has heard this story 2 or 3 times, but I'll make it short and sweet if I can. I first seen this car when I was 5 years old. I'm 62 years old now. I first seen this car when I was 5 years old, and my uncle had it. He bought it brand new in '62 in Alabama, North Alabama, around Abertville, Alabama, and that's where he lived. And my grandparents had a farm on the outskirts of Abertville, and a 60-acre farm. And as I said, I was 5 years old, and I was playing. I've always liked cars and trucks, and I had little cars and trucks, and they live on top of Sand Mountain. And if you've ever been there, you know why they call it Sand Mountain. It's just sand. And so I was playing in the sand with my little cars and trucks, you know, making roads, and you know how kids do. Well, my uncle pulled up in this car, and I didn't know he had this car, and I seen it coming down the road. You could see, you know, pretty good ways before you ever got to my grandparents' farm. You could see that somebody was coming. So I seen this car coming down the road, and I stood up, you know, and I thought, man, I like that car. And of course, it's a brand new 62 Impala, and it turned in my grandparents', you know, sandy driveway there. And I run over to it, and I seen it with my Uncle Arnold, and I told him, I said, Uncle Arnold, I said, this is the prettiest car I've ever seen in my life. Of course, remember, I'm 5 years old, but I could tell you every kind of car there is back in the day. And he was writing on his insurance book or whatever. I don't know what he was doing, but he was writing stuff down, and he just said, thanks or whatever. And I told him, I said, Uncle Arnold, I said, would you please, when you get tired of this car, I knew he traveled all over the place. I said, would you please save this car for me? So when you get rid of it, would you save it for me? Well, in the meantime, I didn't know it, but my grandmother had come out of the house, opened up the screen door and come out of the house, and she was behind me. I didn't realize that I was too busy. I was too involved in looking at this car. So she heard me say that. So when my uncle did get tired of this car, not tired of it, but I guess wore out, got him a newer one, she bought this car from him. And I didn't realize what she was doing, but all those years, my grandmother and grandfather just had this one. They only had one vehicle. They were rich as far as having really good friends, good health, and food and stuff because they had a farm. But as far as money, they did not have any money. They didn't have indoor plumbing. If you had to go to the bathroom, back in those days, you went out to the outhouse. They didn't have a whole lot. But they was rich. They were rich people as far as health and having really good friends, and they were just really outstanding people. And I really do miss them to this day. They both passed away years ago. But anyway, my grandmother heard me say that, and she knew that I loved cars and trucks. That's all I played with, all I talked about. So, as I said, she wound up with the car for my Uncle Arnold, and they drove this car for years because that's all they had. And my grandfather didn't drive. My grandmother done all the driving. My grandfather was into, just farming and didn't have a tractor or nothing. Had everything he done was with mules and had chickens and hogs and stuff like that. But, as I said, you're blessed, but you don't have much money. So, anyway, years and years and years later, my grandmother put this car up in a shed, and so she got her another car. My uncle, by that time, had wore out another car as a '73 Impala. My grandparents bought that from him. I didn't really understand why she saved this car in the shed. So when I was a kid, or when I got older, I should say, when I would go over there still, and I'd go over there and I'd clean up this car in the shed, clean the windows and stuff, I was still too young to drive. So I got this car. My grandmother called me one day. I live here in Tennessee, by the way. So my grandmother called me. They all lived on the farm in Alabama, and she called me. She asked me about this car, and she said, do you still want this car? She said, would you like to have it and take care of it? And I said, oh my goodness, yes, I would. I've always loved this car. It's my favorite car. Prettiest car I've ever seen. So she said, well, come over here and get it. So, I kept asking her on the phone how much do you want for the car? I was going to buy it. And she never would say on the phone how much. So, I'm getting long-winded, aren't I? I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm finished. I'm about to finish it up. I got all my tools gathered up one weekend. I drove on the outskirts of Albertville in North Alabama, and checked the car out. Make sure the transmission, everything. I'm not a real smart car guy to begin with, but I brought every kind of tool I could have that I had, and made sure everything what I thought was pretty good to go. So I kept asking her, how much do you want for the car? And my grandmother never would say. Finally, she said, I just want you to have it. And I just broke down in tears. And man, it's rough. Anyway, I kept saying, please let me pay for the car. I'm sorry, I get emotional on this car. Anyway, she finally said, "Give me $1." So I gave her $1. I drove the car all the way back here to Tennessee, and I've had it ever since. I've got everything to put this car back original. I've still got the original rims and hubcaps and everything to put it back original. But like the seat covers and stuff, I traded around for them. They're real proud of these seat covers and door panels and such. So I wound up trading around to get these. I did buy new carpet. You know, I'm one of them kind of guys. I have to save up, and I've had some points in my life where I didn't want to put a whole lot of money into this car. It's not because I didn't love it, because I do love it very much. But I was always afraid there might come a time in my life that I might have to sell something. You know how life is. Sometimes things happen. And it's happened to me several times, and I've had to sell things and do things I really didn't want to do. But you know, you got to keep up and keep your bills paid and stuff, so that's what I had to do. But I'm so blessed to still have this car to this day. I've never had to sell it. I've had several 62s and a bunch of old trucks and stuff, and sometimes things happen. You know, my wife has had cancer before, and you know, I had to sell some things. You know, hospital bills are pretty high, and you know, I couldn't afford some of the bills. So I'm like everybody else in life. You know, sometimes things happen, and you've got to do what you can do, you know, to keep things going. So as I said, you know, it's just the way things are. But I want to tell you, I'm truly blessed to still have this car. I'm just tickled to death with it, and I'm going to try to spend more time with it. I'm going to try to clean up the wheels and just pedal with it. And sorry, I didn't mean to get so emotional, but sometimes I look at this car and I remember things. So anyway, I hope y'all have a good day. I'm sorry I got long-winded. I do this every time, and I apologize. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at the car. I'm going to try to end this video before I get everybody's ears to bleeding because I talk so much. But anyway, y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would. Leave a comment. I sure would be grateful. And don't forget to visit my friend Tim Dixon at Gas Axe Chop Shop on Facebook. Gas AXE Chop Shop on Facebook. I think you'll find him really interesting, and he's a real good friend of mine. And that's where my 57 Chevy truck is at right now, waiting on parts to arrive to fix the brakes on it. And please, if you found this interesting, please look at some of my older videos. I've probably got, gosh, I don't know how many videos I've got. It seems like I make one almost every day here lately. But I've probably got 180, 190 videos maybe. I'm not sure. Some of them I'm not real proud of. You'll just have to excuse them. Some of them are. I really like the video I made probably a year ago about the ivory soap. If you get a chance, check it out. It's talking about my grandmother too, and what she taught me about ivory soap. And there's a few more videos that are pretty good as far as keeping you entertained. Some of them, as I said, I'm not real proud of, but you know how it is. I have good days and bad like everybody else. Hey, I hope y'all have a good day. I'm having an outstanding day. Truly, I am. I'm blessed. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see you later.